We're here at the Oil Council event 2012 in London, and we're talking now to Simon Hatfield, who's the Chief Executive of WesternZagros. This is a company that's based in Kurdistan, and it has just returned to contributing to the oil output for Iraq. Simon, welcome.
Thank you.
You're going to be talking to those here at the Oil Council about the climate for investing in Kurdistan. How would you sum it up briefly?
I'd sum up the investment climate in Kurdistan as being very good. For the Middle East, the terms are quite reasonable. The security situation is very good. We're starting to see there's a new era form with the majors are starting to come in now. Where I think you're aware we've been investing there for 8 years.
Yeah.
But in the last 24 months, you've seen majors like ExxonMobil, Chevron, Total, and more recently Gazprom Neft as our partner come into the region. So obviously it's attractive and competitive.
You mentioned partnership. That seems to be one of the themes at the Oil Council this year, is partnership. It's obviously key to your operation. How much more secure do you feel because you are in a partnership?
We've had a partnership with the Kurdistan Regional Government now for over 8 years. They're very comfortable with working with us. We receive lots of compliments from them. They were happy enough to allow us to keep operatorship even with a company like Gazprom Neft as our partner for at least the next couple of years. We think we do a good job.
Is there a vulnerability, do you think, for some of the smaller companies operating in the area now that we've got these larger companies coming in?
Well, the acreage situation is pretty tight, so there's not a lot of new blocks open. So I think, yes, the field is ripe for consolidation, and my sense is you're going to see some of the smaller companies will not be here in a few years' time.
What do you think will be the turning point, the catalyst that might start this sort of consolidation?
That's a good question. I think some of the smaller companies have struggled. Gladly we're not in that category. And I think the government has encouraged some of the majors to look at those smaller companies.
Well, it's interesting to look at your production portfolio. Just increased now to 5,000 barrels a day, I believe. Is that right?
Correct.
Your wells.
Yeah, we're for the first time our oil, our 5,000 barrels a day from our Sakala well, is actually being trucked to Kormala and then going into the export system. So we're actually exporting oil for the benefit of the Kurdistan region and all of Iraq right now.
You talk about the risks. I mean, there's some interesting dynamics have changed in terms of payments, hasn't it, from Iraq? Does this faze you at all?
I think, along with other operators, we're watching carefully what happens. We were selling into the domestic market previously and being paid on monthly contracts in advance. Now we're selling into the export market, and we are expecting to be paid about 3 months in arrears. This, as long as that happens, that doesn't give us a particular concern.
But does it put a strain on the balance sheet at all? How well funded are you to cover this 3 month delay?
We're very well funded, and as long as the payments come in as expected, we're funded through our ambitious program of 2013.
Well, I guess including that program is the Kobamer well, isn't it? And you've been doing a lot of drilling there, and in fact you came up with some really excellent news recently.
Yes. We had 3 zones to look at. The deeper Cretaceous zone was disappointing. The next zone up, the Eocene, was not quite what we would like to see, but there's still more work to be done on that. But the main zone, the Oligocene, we've just started testing that, and the first test in that interval has greatly exceeded our expectations. We would have been happy with 1,000 barrels a day, and we ended up with 3,450 barrels a day. So we're continuing to test that interval, and we're very optimistic about it.
Okay, where do you go from here as a company?
Where do we go from here? We got a big program next year. We're shooting 3D seismic over 3 areas of the block. We're looking for 3 different rigs right now, 2 capable of deep exploration wells, and a smaller rig capable of workovers and shallow drilling. So we have an exciting time ahead of us.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. Simon, in the meantime, at the Oil Council, thanks indeed for joining us.
Okay.
Simon Hatfield is Chief Executive of WesternZagros.